In section 8.3, we are learning about how to convert between American and metric units. It's a very simple matter, and so we can make conversions between American units and metric units by substituting based on the rounded approximations in this table. It's probably not necessary to remember the whole table, but here are the tables that the text is referring to. And the main idea really is to have an approximation that you know how a mile relates to a kilometer, for example, or a yard to a meter, etc., or how many feet is in a meter. So we're going to use these approximations in the following way. For example, to convert 100 yards into meter, we write it as follows. 100 yards is equal to 100 times 1 yard. And since 1 yard equals 0.914 meters, we write it now as 100 times 0.914 meter, and that is then equal to 91.4 meters. So 91.4 meters. And the next exercise is about the same. Here we're converting miles into kilometers. So we have 2.5 miles, 2.5 miles equals 2.5 times 1 mile. And so 2.5, since 1 mile is 1.609 kilometers, we now multiply this by 1.609 kilometers, and that's equal to 4.0225 kilometers. So 4.0225. So it's a very simple process. In the guided solution number 3, we have to convert 2,383 kilometers to miles. That's about the distance from St. Louis to Phoenix. So again, we write 2,383 kilometers as 2,383 times 1 kilometer. And since 1 kilometer is 0.621 miles, 0.621 miles from the previous chart, we now see that this is equal to 1,479.843 miles. So let me write it up here, it's a bit easier to read. 1,479.843 miles. So again, it's a very simple process. The Pacific Coast Highway, which is part of California State Route 1, is 655.8 miles long. Find this length in kilometers rounded to the nearest tenth. In number 4, the Pacific Coast Highway is part of California State Route 1. So again, we write 655.8 miles equals 655.8 times 1 mile equals 655.8 times 1.609 kilometers per mile. So that would be kilometers, and that is equal to 1055.82 1822 kilometers. And since we are rounding to the nearest tenth, this will then be 1055.2 kilometers. So it's approximately equal to, since we're rounding. In number 5, we have the tallest building in the world is Burj Khalifa in Dubai, in the United Arab Emirates, with a height of 2,717 feet. Find the height in meters. So again, we start by saying, okay, 2,717 feet equals 2,717 times 1 foot equals, that's equal to 2,717 times 0.005 meters, and that is equal to 828.685 meters. So all these conversion units, like 1.609 kilometers per mile and 0.305 meters per foot, and so on, come from the table in the previous set of problems. And similarly, complete number 6, 1.75 millimeters. How many inches is that? That's about the thickness of a quarter. We begin with 1.75 millimeters equals 1.75 times 1 millimeter. It's equal to 1.75 times times 1 centimeter per 10 millimeter, or 0.175 centimeters. Now we also know that 1 inch equals 2.54 centimeters. So in other words, by dividing both sides by 2.54, 1 inch divided by 2.54 centimeters equals 1. So now we use this information to do the following conversion: 0.175 centimeters times 1 equals 0.175 centimeters, and now we replace 1 with 1 inch per 2.54 And this equal then to 0.0688974 inches, and we round this to 0.069 inches. So the answer is 0.069 inches. And this is the end of section 8.3.